The Liverpool Public Library presents Passwords and Access Codes 102, Pins and Access Codes. In our previous video, we talked about how to create good passwords. In this one, we'll talk about pins and access codes. How are pins and access codes different from passwords? I mean, they serve the same purpose of keeping people out. Well, they're just shorter, usually from 4 to 8 digits long, and they're usually just digits. They also tend to keep people out of devices, like your phone or your tablet. Sometimes they keep people out of apps on your phone or tablet, like your password management app or your gift list program. After all, you wouldn't want people to know what you're getting them for their birthdays, now would you? And if you have one of those fancy schmancy keyless push button locks, they keep people out of your house. And by the way, these are really great if you have kids who are always losing or forgetting keys. And let's talk about that acronym PIN. It stands for Personal Information Number. So you won't hear me talking about PIN numbers, because that just means Personal Information Number. Much like you won't hear me refer to an ATM machine, which would be an automated teller machine. Which reminds me, there are often pins to keep people out of your accounts on ATMs. Most of us have pins on our phones and tablets, and if we don't, we should. Why? Well, first of all, because it keeps people from getting into our stuff and messing with it. It especially keeps people from messing with your email and Facebook accounts and getting useful personal information from them. Second, because with most phones, it prevents you from accidentally calling someone when you sit down with your phone in your back pocket. I'm sure you've either made or received a few of those calls. If the phone's locked with a PIN, it won't make that call. But I know that some of you don't like having PINs on your phones and tablets because it takes you too long to get onto them that way. There's not much I can say to that, except to remind you of all the important personal information on your phone, and then give a long, disappointed sigh. I mean, you may not think much of what's on your phone, but just having access to your email and contacts gives scammers a treasure trove of data to use against you and to use for identity theft. So really, give it a PIN. I mean, do you leave your house unlocked because it's too much trouble to get out your keys? But how do you create a good PIN? Well, as with passwords, in most cases, the key is to use something memorable but not obvious. In most cases, yes. In some cases, it's okay to use something perfectly obvious because the consequences of doing that are so small that it doesn't really matter. But I'll get to those cases later. For now, let's just talk about standard PINs. A 4-digit PIN has 10,000 possible combinations from 0000 to 9999. A 6-digit PIN has even more than that. It goes up to 1,000,000. A 6-digit PIN would take someone a lot longer to figure out by trying out over and over again, but most systems only give you 3 tries before locking you out for a while, figuring that you're up to no good. So for now, we're going to stick with a 4-digit PIN. So, what generally aren't good ideas for your PIN? Totally obvious things like your birth date, the last 4 digits of your phone number, the numbers on your license plate, the year you got married, the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, or any other sequential series of numbers, the same 4 digits in a row, or your house number. And please, Star Trek fans, don't use 1701. That's the first thing somebody who knows you're a fan will try. So if you can't use those, what can you use? Well, there's someone else's birth date. Maybe it's easy for people to figure out that your birthday is November 20th, but even if they know your friend Lindsay's birthday is October 16th, they'll never think of guessing that one. Likewise, maybe your wedding anniversary is a bad idea, but your parents' is better. But stepping away from dates, There are other 4-digit combinations you can use. Do you still have the phone numbers of places you used to work at burned into your memory? Try the last 4 digits of those. Or the last 4 digits of the numbers of people you used to call all the time. Or the house number of a friend or relative. How about the years your parents were born? Or your grandparents? Or your children, for that matter? Or the highways that pass through your town? As you can see, there are all kinds of combinations for good PINs. So when is it safe to use a simple PIN? Well, as much as it pains me to say it, your library card account. So go right on ahead and use your birth date or your own phone number. Or even, dare I say it, 1234. And breaking another common password rule, if you've got accounts at more than one library, make life easy on yourself by using the same PIN for all of them. It'll be your general library PIN. And in another deviation from what seems to be the general rule about not duplicating passwords, I'm also going to suggest using the same PIN for all your mobile devices. And of course, any of these ideas could be used for longer PINs and access codes. For example, what's your cousin Sherry's zip code in Wisconsin? Your friend Jenny's phone number? Or how Mr. Smith goes to Washington? I hope this gave you some good ideas. Oh, and about that password management app? We'll talk about that next time.